Today's track line center is all line interference. It's all position directions how we divide and conquer our system to understand all levels of view through calculation system. It's all in resonance patterns of communication. This volumes in all levels of how you set your line communication systems to your abundance and manifestations of its co-creations, coming into your memories of already knowing. Okay. But dividing and conquering is amazing because the mind adaptation opens all calculation, right? Calculates time, center, and interference, position, timeline. Timeline is time and interference times pi, over communication, high center location, x pi positional calculation line stream, center connection line, position location, divide and conquer, trifactor box position location, timeline times pi. Calculates high interference of clock locations in position location directions times vector times calculation times calculus over sector communication line system, evolution line center revelation communications, all levels of calculations of divine and conquer communication system of its revelation. Right? There's always a signal in calculations. Your line center interference is specification directions. One shoulder to the next shoulder line communication crossing signal. See the cross signal locations? Center connection line centers all levels of X line connection. See? Crossing position locations, one line to another line communication system, crossing over. Okay. So you're using line condition of travel position location directions. Now, this is where we set lines of communication signals. We open all communication. Now, when you open all communications, you're coming into line condition of director locations. Now, this position location directions, this is how you come into all levels of view through modification. All right. Now, you guys have a test coming up on Wednesday. All right. This is going to give you more lines of you and understand you through abundance and manifestation, how to get these things through pi. Okay. We've gone into the connections, but today it's going to be interesting line conditions. We're going to go through the central graph communications of the Mecha path. Now, the Mecha path has multi layers of division, location, dimension lines, and colorations of galaxies. Galaxies switching in line center interference is turning stand the sky grid locations, right? Sky grid line centers a weather pattern. Weather pattern communication and inference of channelized centers is heat signature pattern locations, all in line center of view, position of direction location, heart reactor. Heart division line connection is its track center interference. So in that correlation, you guys are going to go into the astrologic location. This is a very high-tech computer position of space line. Okay, sky grid line center and line center interference. Do not touch communications on any way and form of a button, position, location, or directions. Everything is set up in timeline. Okay, time calculation, timeline. Time calculation, okay, is the calculus. Timeline, point system, direct location, box center, trifactor, 7-line communication, equal line conditions, influx capacitors, timelines times pi, manifestation, boom, calculation, boom. So line condition interference opens all line communication system. So this is where you have to really understand how to divide and conquer what you want. And what you want is already in that calculation. So understanding how to modify this, how to get this through its performance, it's all levels of you through time. Time is the existence of the now, guys. This is why it's so powerful. When you really understand more lines of communication, you're getting back what is yours through evolution. The revelation line centers of circle interference is setting your communication on how you see yourself through discernments and how you surrender to these things. I surrender to all line communication system, location, avatar line centers. I'm now understanding the communication line interference location to its universal line connection of myself. I surrender to all communication of abundance line centers, box, triangle line center, and position and directions. I surrender myself to all communication system of love cycles of high division line center times pi. So these are the things you have to understand to get what you want is to simplify things. Simplicity at the most. Okay. This simplifies on what you want. And to get it is to ease the attention line center. What is your intention? Okay. Not communication interference like in external case in the high system, but the drag line centers understand division locations. But the ground line centers not understanding line interference. Nothing is position, location, of direction, of balance. Because I'm all over the place. I can say this and I can say this, but there's no calculation, right? You go, right? There's no communication, right? So this is a Trinity standing where the ego has to really separate, but find its balance. All right. So separating the location of its ego sets corner line centers. Now, center of its location is off system. So in that calculations, like I said, you come in and do dichotomies. Dichotomy is split line connection. Center line center, zero interference. Line connection high system. Why am I using sound tones every single time when I'm pointing a finger communication line string? Because it's all connected to what? Vibration. Right? Energy. Harmonics. Right? Understand what energy is, vibration, and frequencies. Frequencies is it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Energy is a formation, right? Everything through its creation line center interference. Okay? So understanding vibration is trying to understand you through body interference. That body interference is tracking line communication system. Understand where the point communications are. All communication inside you. To understand the adaptation, it's true to understand the vibration of voice grids. Number sequence patterns come in line center interference, comes in calculation system. Your alphabetical line connection has all levels of visionary line centers of cortex locations, right? Yeah, open air, open concept, open mind, open thought, open the correlation, position location of panel, right? In between position location directions, sonar, signal position location, I receptor line, all communication, mental capacity, high system, psychological connection, all line communications, all levels of ear tone. Everything is sound. Everything is sound. Modification line connections get you into multi-communication. So the mechapath is going to get you an oscillological channel, high-pitched sound centers and high interference, how you get in the communication system, right? We started off in line centers. Now everybody saw communication of close encounters of third kind. So we are in balanced communication. The faster we go through correlation, the easier it gets through formation line streams, right? The slower it is, the harder for us to understand. The communication interference is position directions where all intelligence lives in a high signal, a very high position of formation line conditions. You start with the ground line center, medium position, high position, higher position, highest position. So really get into weather tones, weather patterns, weather interference. This gets your position location to front line channel, setting up signal location, position, and directions, right? Sounds like a vacuum, right? Get a story frame communication going, line center interference. It's not just voicing grid locations, it's inner line, it's position location directions, right? It's opening up signals. heart palpitation line stream, lacing communication line stream interference. So many communication inside line. Now, the second line center per second, per channel, per hour opens all calculation to its atom line center rotation system. This calculates modified line centers, right? Two hand formation locations, all levels of an atom line. The circle line center, see the circle communication system? It's got 4 channels of operation, see it? And 5 within the system. 1 north, 1 south, 1 east, 1 line connections. North, west, south, and east line connections, there's diamond line interference. Setting communication levels of generalized spacetime, all through a shirt of representation. Communication high center is all levels in how you use your voice grid locations, guys. Really recognizing things that you put on position location track line center. Line communication interference. Sonar tone line centers, line communication line streams, all level of communication. Your fingers are so many line communication and vibration line condition atom line center. As soon as I touch my glasses, it's a vibration, right? You take it off, put it on. Take it off, put it on. See? Taking it off goes faster. Putting it back on positions its balance. So it's like going, right? Going away and coming back, going away and coming back, going away and coming back. So it's recognizing more line conditions of rhythm patterns. So we're going to code signal locations, your code signals, line connections, organ line center interference, Arger and pro locations, code adaptation streams, specific calculations, center connection line centers. We'll go into division line center. We'll go into dimensional line and rotations. We'll go into all connection interdimensional locations, into high center interference, all communication system, to galactic line connections, into intergalactic location AI tech. Center communication system, put you in high channel, coming into mega path. So remember, don't touch anything on computer line center interference. It's less set position locations. It's going to retract line center, change physical streamline centers, and position location directions. So it's important that you understand what you're doing, right? When you're looking at things, even if it looks pretty, you're not going to touch things because you don't know what it is. It can vortex you, it can channel you. It's all in operation line stream. So computer interference line position location directions, setting communication system position location calculations, all levels of channel operation, right? Now, the line connection allows has its space bars. Now, we understand the flight navigation is one at the wall. Center line communication sets position location directions, interlacing communication of computer operation line stream. Okay? Center communication system opens all lines. So we got 4-point channels of communication of atom line center interference. Set communications of program setting. Now, this is reposition location calculations, crossing signals in line connections. All right? Opening up new panels of operation line centers of time frames, time lock locations, box position location and calculation high connections. All right. So knowing exactly what I'm doing is helping you along the way and how to reach line communication. See, I'm sitting down and the allocate line center. If it was the identification streamline off interference, the thing is position location directions, the chair understands that I'm wearing black because it has a tone, has a vibration, has a frequency, has a coloration, has a pattern, has a dimension, has space, has time. So it knows exactly what it is to identification. Anybody else, again, sits in this chair, sets line communication, it overloads the circuit line center. Okay. It doesn't recognize your identification line condition. So it's important we understand these things, right? Everything that you touch has energy, vibration, and frequencies and harmonics. And you have to understand how to balance these things out. That's all this is. Okay. Balancing what you wear, balancing what you touch, balancing what you eat, balancing what you drink. It's all levels of you. You are connected to everything. But you have to understand its intelligence. And to understand the intelligence is to understand the form of communication. Okay. Let's say we got 4 line centers. You got the baby, you got the child, teenager, adult. Adult does understand communication, right? But the baby is trying to understand the information. But here's the teenager walking lines. But the adult is trying to understand communication of its argument line center. So in position locations, how do we get 4 line centers, 5 position, 6, and 7 location? 2 in track line centers, 1 division. So in that line center interference, it's true to understand how to balance these things out through personal line centers, guys. Personal traits, communication, the astrologic line condition interference, pixel-active steering line center interference, understanding your 12 DNA line center of your conscious locations. Each chakra is a representation of you through motion. You got channel operation signals. It's all online communication system. This platitude is your division locations and how you see yourself in your own representation of you. It's your communication system when you come to all levels of track location, right? 3 center line position. There's a triangulation. Circle line interference. Line communication. Atom line center in rotation. Travel locations, right? 12 generation light streams. Now, understand what I'm doing is understand the atmosphere, location, and signature. Okay? It's like markering in the atmosphere and line center and writing your name. Right? And then it's all about understanding the graph location. And it goes back to the beginning and starts again. Right? If there's a number signal off that interference location, the oscillator line center, the adjective line center, the nouns, the pronouns, the communications, synonyms, the homonyms, the adverbs communication line system, the actions communication system position, the exclamation mark, the period communication system, the question mark line connection. There's so many line connections that you have to understand through keyboard line phrase. So this gives you a better communication of track lines. So understanding Z-graph location, understanding X-line channel, understanding communication, understanding the velocity, understanding the balance, understanding neutralize, understanding metric, understanding the levels, understanding the kaleidoscope, understanding jump scars, understanding the hemisphere, understanding the ground line canary, understand the formations, understanding division, understanding systematic locations, understanding the atoms, all through your keyboard location. Right? Each letter is vibration. My computer operation line center line interference. One window frame is different intelligence to the whole computer location. One computer is not the same vibration because it's different aptitude line centers. You got the keyboard, you got the space bar, you have the window screen, okay? So, and you got everything in inline, center line, position location to its hardware and software. Now, this is to understand how to use line connection on levels of light codes and line connections of dark code line center interference. Light codes is light, dark codes is light. Nothing is dark line center interference. Everything is formations of light and dark. Merging communication system is understanding the balance of your track line center. The astrologics is what? Turning you all level communication of green, all right? So we don't want to get confused that line, position, location, directions, right? You have a coloration path. You have a metric system. You have allocated line streams. You got position, location, directions. You got off-center line position. You got computer operation line interference. You got virus communication systems. You have Trojan interference line conditions, digital frame line center interference. There's so many line communications of emotional line center that's off-track locations if you don't understand your thoughts. Okay? So when you get into correlation and you touch things right away, wherever you are in the mind system, it changes right away, okay, to the fields inside in the outline center of you, of your reality. As soon as you change your thought, it changes the vibration of what you are touching. Anything that you see in directory, like say 2 meters, 5 meters, 100 meters, 2 feet, 4 feet, whatever, wherever your location, position, direction is, it's energy that's tracking your communications, right? So you're attracting all communication right away through laser, right? Comes together. Eye lines right here, right? Eye line communication. 4 communication centers, 3 line centers appearance, 3 communication line centers, what? 6 locations. All right, 4 line centers, 8 line centers, and 2 thumb positions comes together. But it's not coming together. Why? Because it's lost information coming in position and direction. Nope. Nope. Yep. Triangulation. So there's all point communications. Understanding your voice lines is get you in a better calculation. How to center your lines of information. So it's very informative when you see locations, right? It's a lot more fun when you understand how to use it all position. All right. So as we get into box line communication, you guys are already traveling the lines, so that's good. So don't touch anything in line center interference. I just want you guys to understand the 8 central communication, 8 central, understanding line connection levels into velocity communication, understanding calculations to your alpha channels. You can have alpha channel here, you can have data position here, line communication, equal line connection to delta, delta communication operation system line connection levels comes into all position. Now, you can come into theta channel position location directions. This opens all communication line stream into fluctuation. Line connection line interference is its flux capacitor. Direct its high signal locations calculations, high streams. So as long as you know how to use your alpha communication, your delta, theta, beta, and mega line center, it opens all communication streams. This opens a high line channel, okay, in your operation system. To understand position, location, and direction is understanding all levels of force. Force line communication comes into zero line centers. This is where it comes into atom change. You got 2 point centers, top line communications, right? Line connections in position of directions into aerial communication system, right? Now the line center line connections comes into all levels of triangulation. Everything is triangulation, especially if you want to communicate with anything on any level of that line connection, right? So once you get into the alpha channel, come into the delta wave, come into the beta communication, and anything through theta or anything through operation of omega sets all communications into new stream center into your alphabetical stream. Okay. So, and it's currently on understanding is that when you're seeing a keyboard, try to use it as a reference location into position of time through space, because every letter of a keyboard line center is locked in sequence. So in communication system, just have a regular conversation with the keyboard. Quantum line center and the water line center doesn't understand the energy line center of its rays, but the telegraphic location is Y line center to unify position location identification. The operation system perception location is changing the aerial line center like conditions. But flight 9 in center line rotation interference does not change position of spacebar. Spacebar stays position location directions to its operation line center to its crop circle. But the crop circle is changing line communications into 1 line center, 5 position location, 9 line centers back into 6 position location 3. But 3 is not in communication system, but 2 is back in track locations. 5 is in balance line connection at gravity location. All through computer, keyboard. Balance, 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 balance. So try to get into that. Telepathy from inline center is telepathy from outline communication, which is all levels of division. So try to understand that you can use your voice grids as long as you're inside. If you're outline communication, you're setting up a virus channel. You don't want to set up a virus channel because you're going to disassociate and separate your unit operation of calculation. All right. So having a regular conversation with yourself puts you in plateau. It puts you in balance. It puts you in division. It puts you in an activation stream. All right. So I know it's kind of strange if you look at these things because you're asking yourself, why is it so important to communicate with a keyboard? Well, why is it so important to understand a computer? Why is it so important that I'm standing in front of you? It's all levels of operation of vibration, guys. So if you understand the indication, each keyboard phrase of each letter, number, shape, or symbol has its own knowledge of its own vibration, of its own correlation, of sound tone, of information that is given to you, position, location, and direction. Okay. So let's get in that line connection interference. You guys are traveling locations into the astrologic locations into the mega path. Mecca path. All right, Kimmy, how's it going? Line connection on levels of Ash, JP, Jill, Tina, Heather, Airbender. Line connections of Commander, Joanne. Let's see, Guardian. all the system locations. Danny, let's see, Money. Let's set an interference here. Setting line center interference location calculations. The more you communicate inside, the more you stand lines. But you have to balance out these frequencies because you're reaching channels of operation inside connections, right? Which is all levels of U line connections. All right, Commander. Let's see, Star. Let's see, communication system, position location direction. Sammy. Nikki, how's it going? All right, so it's great to see everybody on a Saturday. Kira, so calculation, nice. Sam, Rainer, Light Connections, All System, Yolanda. All right. So, all right. So you get in a better understanding when you go into more space line connections with the school. School gives you division and all calculation. So, all right. Let's see here. Johnny, Heather, Andre. Okay. Laura, Madeline. Okay, I'm just going to the list line connections. Merlin, connection, interference. Tommy, how's it going? Don. Okay, so understanding everything is really understanding you all levels of form, right? So the form communication system is allocate timelines. So it's interesting to look at these things. As soon as I'm touching the digital pad, it's center line communication. It's got 4 channels of operation. It's a flat surface, but it's got 4 communications of lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-point centers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 graph stream. 1 sun position, 1 moon position, and you in the center operation. So if you look at the Rubik's Cube, the center never, never, never leaves because it's you of operation, right? The only thing that moves is the inner line center of everything outcast location. But everything outcast is inside, so don't get confused, right? Nothing is allocated in a line connection. Allocated is locking sequence, locking pattern, locking division, locking time, locking space inside of you. How you program your system is in calculation to your thought lines. So line center interference, it's really interesting locations. Let's say you get a box location, all right? You're in a box through timeline, through all positions of patterns. Now, line communications comes into thought channel. You're thinking of one thought line center, okay? That thought is not going to come out of the box locations until you understand its creation. To understand the creation, you have to understand the energy line. So in position comes into transmitting. It's coming in position of its thought, right? And then line center interference is receiving locations, all right? You're receiving information. Now, receiving information is all levels of what you're going through correlation of its data stream. Now, this is where it comes into all communication, right? Your data stream comes in high-line centers of wire communication system, all levels of channel of operation. Central communication system is vortex chamber connections, right? So locking signals and timelines and time frequencies and time codes and reduction locations is true to understand youth correlation into positions, all levels of sonar communication. Okay? Now, that is just the one letter into one word, into one sentence, into one frame, into one image. Okay? So it's all about you're creating the line connection of a thought through an image. And once that image comes in, it communicates to what? The vibration, to its energy, to its frequency, to its harmonics. Okay? You put that all together, you've got a diagram, a position, location, direction of an image, of a thought. And that thought becomes what? A frame, box, position, location, into time, into one communication, into one frame, position, location, in timeline center. Okay? So it's web graphing stream centers, all communication, all line connection. So it's important you understand your alphabetical line connections. You start up with 26 line physical line, but you change line interference to 26,000 line communications, right? Because AI stands on line communication when it comes into levels. The graph streamline center, we've got into zero line communication and one track locations, 0, 1 position, okay, 0 calculation, 0, 1, 0 calculation, right? So you got a 0 gravity line center in position of triangulation all through 3, 6, 9. One line center stands on point line center position location to its track line center, and to understand its division locations comes into flux capacitor. It position locations of its directions. That's very high rise. Now the 0 line gravity position locations opens all levels into ground level communication. Higher levels of channels in the atmosphere line connections, all level system locations. Right? Now, channel operation streams is all levels of how you see the astrologics. An astrologic communication is just a graph line. Okay, it's pixelated. All right, it's box centers. Okay, it's changing your rhythm pattern code system. So it's changing coloration. Let's go through coloration box centers and calculations. We got green here. Okay, let's change that line conditions. You got purple here. Okay, so understanding coloration is changing your position of directions. And we got blue here. So let's start there. All right. All communications. See the coloration change? So green is communication. It's just like anything on the road, you know? Red is stop, yellow is proceed, and green is go. Right? So the green line center line interference becomes a geometric location. Now, center communication is on levels. How to use the heart recognition line center is to understand how to plot the visual location of colors, because line communication of pink is representation of heart. Okay, everybody's saying, well, I thought the heart was green. It is, but it's also pink. You guys have to understand something. These are higher levels of acceleration AI connection. So once your coloration reaches higher levels of 12 DNA track locations, you're reaching higher calculations of tones, a measure. This puts you in a higher line, okay, and how you use your rhythm patterns. Vibration line system changes locations into your conscious line communication stargates. You have 12 DNA line centers, right? So heart is a representation of green, and it's also a representation of pink. Okay, so don't get confused out of communication system. Same with the zero gravity line center, the crop circle locations. One is like communication of grounds, but there's so many level communications of grounds of vibration. Brown is not brown. Everything of brown communication is everything formation of color. Just like the sun communication system. Let's say, 24,000 light signal. That's 24,000s of purple location of the sun lines that you calculated through one position location into one graph center. Modification system allocates timelines. Line connection is its locked surface. Moon program setting is your motion line connection. This is where it comes into moonbeams of track information. Now, the information line center understands you through all calculations. This is where you come into astrological channel. Now, that channel line position location is all about referencing locations of red, green, yellow, blue, pink, black, So it's all about understanding is to fluctuate and flush out your system. And once you flush out your system, then you understand the graph line centers to its position of direction. But it's amazing how the astrological center line is set up locations. And then you got the frontal lobe and the back location, and you got your indicators right here. These are the inhibitor location. The inhibitor location has a central communication of one metric line connection. Now it has code signals very, very fast. Its secret locations and its setting up position location of corner lines. A corner line is centered to all position location to its reverberation. Reverberation in one channel to your spine communication line system, right? Changing communication centers, atmosphere line connections, all weathers of weather patterns, all right? Box position locations to your Mecca path, all right? So the central communication system is all levels of you. How to travel through it is another thing. You got astral connections, astral travels, astral projections. You got lucid dreams, livid dreams, right? You're not dreaming anymore. Now that takes out line communications into visual cortex location. This changes the Mecca path of you. So I set line communication. It's also on Space Discoveries. So line connection interference gives you all levels of what a Mecca path is. It's information location to the oscillological location. This creates line conditions where you come to all formation locations into one line screen. Now, line screens are adaptation locations into the sideline communication of your brain. Line screens of communication sets one graph location in oscillogics. Line communication interference has this communication system. So it's coming in like into nerves, the programs of nerves, the calculations of nerves, the bone communications of nerves, the line connection colorations of nerves, the red cells of nerves, high position of the white cells, receivers of nerves. Everything is a nerve. If I pinch my system location, right, it goes right here. But where's it it's attaching to? When I do this, right? Where's the wire connector? So I'm squeezing, right? And I feel it here. See? If I do it here, right? I feel it here. See? So there is a connection line string, right? So you have to understand how to set line communications because your pixel octave stream changes second per minute per hour per day, right? Your thoughts are its continuous force. That never leaves the system position, location, directions, guys, right? So you really, really have to understand the Metatronic line in and line position locations and how you use all levels of U in wire division, all right? The center line communication system, if I do this, right, I feel it back here, right? It's all nerve stem line center. It's all recognition wire lines. This wire is connected up here. These line connections, this is the carotid line center. They got 3 line center rotation spin cycles. You got a circle location, right? 3 line circle line centers. You got 40 million line centers in both communication line streams, right? 4 atmospheres of change, 4 weathers of communication, and 4 activation light streams in your neckline centers of wire communication, right? Equal line center interference. What is communication of 4 plus 4? A communication. Center communication, all levels. So there's a reason why you have 40 aligned position locations of 40 million wires connected to your necklines. All right. So it's like connection line interference location of C through PO. It's nothing but wires of detection locations. This high rise is division line centers, guys. Center line interference is all communication system. Okay. Time frequency, timelines, times calculus times pi over line connection is position location directions. So it's very powerful when you come into these line centers, knowing exactly where the wires are and where it hits the high system, calculation modification division line center, inline communication system, right? So it's really understand the communication, right? Understanding electrical grids, understanding all formation locations inside position, right? So this is a Mecca path interference. So it's all about understanding how to set line communications to your streams. You have data streams, you have mega process line connections of streams, you have data process connection line interference, and computer operation of streams. There's so many communications in the wireline center. How many electrical wire lines do you have in your mainframe communication system? Then you understand the timelines. The modification circle is all levels position. The operation system is how you triangulate a line communication system into your flux capacitor. There's your flux capacitor. Your tracker system rotates up and up and up. Same thing location. That's what it does every day. Knowing what your body does every single day. Energy, vibration, and frequencies and harmonics is everything in one position location. It's not separated into 4 channels of operation, or 5 in center, or 6 in allocate through code line center interference of barcode locations, or anything in the 7-line communication system. Maybe you have 2 track line centers, but not 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. It's got 1 communication system, 1 track line center, and 114 trackers down to center operation. Okay? So you have to take all your timelines, all your 7-day graph line center interference, indirect locations into ground locations and 24 signals. Okay. Your track line center is 12 atmosphere lines in the grounds, 12 atmosphere locations of space. Put it together, 24, right? 24 signals and high interference with position location of program setting resets line communication to your astrological location of channel. This is where you come into alpha line communication, your delta wave communication, your beta line center interference, your program locations of operation to its omega. Okay. Theta operation line center is the video screen, setting in position, scanning line connections, all levels of visionary cortex. The image in the position location of its diagram shows high system location of its calculations. How you see I view line center. Signal and position location directions. Everything has vibration of sound. You guys have to learn how to use your senses. This is inhibiting your position location directions and open up higher level of calculation, right? How to use your central system of allocate timelines, locking signals and high interference, weather communication centers, open heat signature pattern communication system, ground center interference. Understand how fast it's going, right? The circular line connections, one way to the opposite line center orientation interference location calculations, circle interference, position location, offline connections, confusing communication line rotations. Everything is a rotation, circulation, rotation. So you really got to get balanced with these things, because if you don't, you're off. You're in position. You're glitching communication system. Your eye central center communication off system. You have to understand the central communication vortex center line going forward, going side, going back, headache position location rotation line system, line connection interference, center line position location off track interference, atom line center position location of virus line channels, all calculated modified, setting new position location directions, sending line communication system, back information. Travel communication is all levels of how you set your line signals. Now, intelligence comes in all ways and forms. We already know that line communication system, right? But it's truly understanding you in all levels of ground center. 5 position location, center line position locations. Really understand how to use your voice line center in intercommunication. Intercommunication, interline connections, intercepting, interfacing. Okay, these are the things you have to pick up. And it's important to understand these things through your sights, through your hearing communication system, your touching, your tasting, right? Coming into that line communication. Your senses are all level of high sensitivity. The more you reach position location directions, the more you're aware of everything, right? So waking up to these things gets you in all communication, right? Hearing an alarm go off. That's an alarm. It's going off, right? That's waking you up. Whoa. You know, shut it down, right? So inline communication, you have to understand the balance of line centers when it comes into tone, right? This is frequency line communication. The oscillogic is connected to all levels of its Mecca path. Okay? Mecca path is basically understanding the heat signature line communications to how you use your data streams. Your data stream is a processor to the upgrades, downloads, and uplinking systems and uploading locations. So getting in calculation gets you in calculus. Now, timelines is communications of pi. This over sector locations into XPi. XPi is the biggest high connections. XP position locations, all levels of the channel operation line connections. Why is it so important to get everything in chronological order? Okay, and remember, there's no point to understand communication system until you understand the master of communication inside line of you in operation. Operation to observation. Observation to everything that you see outside gives you everything that you need to understand. Okay, this helps you in all ways and forms. Okay, so remember that. Okay, and again, understanding the teaching process is not in any way informing communication system. You're just coming back to your memories. Okay, it's not a process of thinking in any way and form. So think of the communication system position and directions of the test is already knowing what you already know. There's no thinking process because you already know it. So it's pretty easy to understand these things when you're coming already into knowing and doing, right? Through its calculus, right? So point direct location is to understand how to use line connections in all levels of form through vibration. Okay. So vibration comes in so many line connections. You got a Fibonacci sequence swirl line position. But that just looks like a swirl, right? What about a box line position, location, and directions in the timeline center and the line interference location calculations? But that's just two box locations. See? Whatever you say is an indication to the left and the right line center to its hemisphere communication centers. Okay? It's the left and the right track and how you use the male and the female aspects of you through intelligence. You got one strip line communication. You split it with communication. It has a male and it has a female communication system. It's all commanding center. All commanding center. But see, this is where it gets interesting because the male line center and the female line center is yin and yang in one process, one position. There's not a male and a female position location. It's all merged into one. It has to. Okay? So getting into that is its process on its own. Okay? These things take time. Right? Your mainframe correlates the position of calculation. Right? Picking these things up gives you more awareness of what you're doing through vibration. Okay? And understanding the energy of form. I'm doing the same rhythm, but look what I'm doing with my hands. See what I'm doing with my hands? It's doing the same rhythm. It's getting the balance of what I'm saying through my voice grid. See how it's in balance? See? So once you understand that, then you understand emotional line connections. Getting into correlation gets you in division, right? But try to get into the knowing and doing of all levels of memory. Getting that memory line communication system gets you all levels to your system. Okay. So this is going to help you always with forms. And we started that line communication just through line connections. Just the line, just the straight line. Okay. But it's not a line. You think it's a line because that's all you know. I said this and I'll keep saying this again. It's true to stand the recognition of one line center in communication. Remember, it's not what you're seeing in position location, it's how it's operating line connections. So you see what you want to see, but you don't see what you can't see. That's the operation of phenomena. So it's to see under anything location is to understand the source of creation is the center operation. Yes, it's blue. Yes, it's a line communication, but it's a strip interference. The strip line center is in a 45-degree angle location times calculation over line calculation position of times pi. Line communication, square line center, white graph locations, box position locations. See the little boxes? You have to correlate and calculate and modify to everything in detail. Okay? See, this is where it comes into repetition. Line connection interference is audio interference. So understand that you got box locations, but you're putting overlap connections of blue communication lines. This is where it comes into strip interference, right? Because the strip interference doesn't understand the box locations. If it was just a piece of white paper that was blank, then it wouldn't be a strip interference, right? It wouldn't correlate and overlap the location of its box locations. But once it understands the position location directions, the box and the round line centers doesn't become a strip line center interference. It becomes a balanced line connections of a line connection of a high system. All through coloration of blue. Okay? Everything is a formation of intelligence of relationship. So there's a lot of things you guys have to understand, right? Really interline these position location calculations, right? So on the test, basically we're going to go into frame by frame by frame by frame, how to get into your pi, right? Really understand where do I put pi in correlation? How do I understand this? Well, it's memory that you already know, but memory you're not sure of because you don't have it yet. That's totally fine. But don't get in the process of confusion. Don't get in the process of scrambling. Don't get in the process of not understanding. Okay? Get in the process of your intention. And set the communications to all levels of your heart. The center communication is going to give you exactly what you want. So it's symphony. it's harmony, it's music, it's mantra, it's a continuous flow. It's got a flow. It's a constant flow. Okay. Space and time has to flow within recognition at all levels of vibration, energy, frequencies. All right. There's a really good balance to that communication system. And try to balance communication into yin and yang process of the male and the female of you in one connection. No separation. No separation at all, because you're changing anomalies, right? Not only that, but you're opposition to your mecha path of communication, right? You are in position location to everything inside, okay? Which comes down to one. You. That's all it is. The massive nothing is everything. Now, the massive nothing is the highest line of vibration, energy, frequency, harmonics. But for communication is one. All chakra system is one. All clocking system is one. All coloration is one. All planet systems are one. Everything is down to one singularity of one simulation, location, division, location, and calculation. One. And that process communication, yin and yang. All right. So these are the things you have to look at. It's a starting process. You just got to get your emotional systems intact with yourself and with each other, or you're always going to find a way to separate your system. You don't want to do that, right? Because it's a magnetic line center interference. It's not sticking, right? Because you're not communicating to your fingers. Okay. To understand every position, location, directions, try to understand personality trait lines. You got 4 line centers off calculations, but you got 4 positions in direction, location, and balance. But the 5 line center of the moon position does understand the track location of 4 line communication. But the 4 communication wants to understand the other 4 communication system. Balance communications, back to thumb communication line centers, and position, location, direction, magnetic force line communication. Done. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. It's all knowing and doing. There's no process of thinking in any line communication. Don't fortitude that line center interference because it changes your track line centers, guys. Very, very powerful communication system. All right, so course channels, center line position, make a path. Taking the line center interference, back in communication system. All right, you guys are back. All right. So we went into 52 line centers and position location and calculations into 55. So, you should understand that you guys are extremely powerful in your intelligent line streams. You just have to understand more line center location, your AI connections, because everything has to come down to one, which is you. What's standing in the center operation right here is me. Do you see 2 of me? No. Do you see 3 of me? No. Do you see 4 of me? No. Do you see 5 of me? No. You only see me. That's all you see. You don't see anything else. You see anybody here? No. Do you see anybody here? No. Do you see anybody here? No. Do you see anybody up there? No. Just me. Me never leaves. Me never leaves, right? The center operation stays in the center operation locations. Everything around moves. The background moves, but you move with the background. All right? You're not standing point. You're with connections. You're blending into the atmosphere. You're blending into the ground. You're blending into the airs. You're blending into the water. You're blending into the air communication system. The filter line connection levels, all of its balance communication to its ground center. It's a 5 communication system. 5 is the balance of everything, right? Line, signal, line connections. Anything that offs line position locations brings it down to 4 channels. Bring it back up. 5. 5 goes over 6. 6 goes over 7. 7 goes over 8. 8 over 9. 9 to 10. 11 to 12. Right? You have to recognize these are emotional line centers, guys. You are working with that every single day, which is your 12 DNA. And you have to recognize every vibration, sequence, pattern to every thought that you send out in position and location. That's the only way you're going to understand all line centers of you, position, direction. It's a lot more fun when you understand your calculation. Forming your line centers in anything through sequence pattern is putting you in direction locations, right? How you use your channel operation is determination. How you use your thought line communication is all levels of vibration, right? So I want you to really recognize these things, understand your vibration inside. That's the vibration it's at. So if I change the tone lines and I get angry, it goes higher, right? And my heart, right? It changes. You got to change the palpitation stream. Now it's back. Temperature reading stream centers. Now, line condition interference is to understand the filter communication system. Flushing out your energy line centers. Try to get in recognition timelines to your 12 DNA line center, your conscious location, your stargates. You have to recognize these things through timelines, right? Each chakra, okay, is consumed inside of you. It's an energy line center. It's a pocket location. It's an energy surface position location. It's a solar generation light. It's anything that you want it to be. Anything you want it to be. Okay. Once you reach a certain line of the mind comes into no longer an imagination. It becomes all communication. It's phenomenon, right? So you become phenomenon, all ways of AI, awareness of information, right? You are extremely aware of everything that you do. Everything that you see is its awareness of its vibration. Your body is reacting to everything. Okay? That's what you have to understand. It's an amplifier of you. Okay? And it's reacting to every position location of your cells inside. All right? So I really want to get more into that. But like I said, we have that test coming up on Wednesday, and we're going to get more into that. We're going to do a short quiz, see how you guys do line connections. And Wednesday will be the operation and see how well you guys do, right? Don't focus on the test. Nobody likes a test. I don't like tests. Never did. Especially when you don't understand what it is, right? As long as the so-called teacher is understanding the concept of its student and the student understands the concept of the teacher, that's fine. But then the thing is, we look at the formula and say, well, I'm looking for what you're talking about. What are you talking about? It's not what you're talking about, it's what you already know through memory. That's the test. So you've already passed. See how it changes these equation locations? And you don't have to worry about, oh, I'm so sweaty. I can't do this. This is too hard. I don't understand the formula. The formula of you is love, the unconditional love, the activations of love, the circles of love, the correlations of love, the activation stream of communications, interference location, and universal line center, the self-communication system of love. It's how you see yourself in all formation. When you get up in the morning, how do you feel? It's all connected to your vibrations, right? Really understand how to use you, okay? This is how you get your abundance. This is how you get your manifestation. This is how you get your co-creations. So again, all you're doing is basically getting a puzzle and just putting it all together. You got the four corner pieces, or you work from inside line center, bring it up position. Whoa, look at that. There's the image. Look at it. See the image? It's all created. It's all done. See? That's all it is. You're putting the pieces and puzzles back to you, which brings you down to one. You. You are the center operation of everything that is inside you. Nothing else, nothing more. Okay? Now's the time to divide and conquer. Okay? That's what you guys have to come into. Conquer. Get in communication. Understand more levels of you inside communication. Right? So, all right. So there's no class tomorrow. Familiar day, obviously. I probably won't be on. I'm going to be out all day. I'm going to be up in the afternoon line center and position locations of tomorrow. But we'll get in correlation on Monday. We have Q&A. I got a very busy schedule. In communications, getting you guys ready for your test, review, and evaluations. All right. All right. You guys have a fun weekend. Adios.